Hello, people. I'm back with the motherhood series finally. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Paulette. I am a Kenyan nurse currently living and working in the UK. I talk about my parenthood journey, coming to the UK while pregnant, settling here, everything lifestyle, as well as nursing. To my returning subscribers, thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because we are now on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'll just randomly start off from around December 2021, which is where I had left in the previous episode. And in December 21, I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant. We were given a shared accommodation during that time. And once again, I knew that I was not going to stay in Liverpool for a while. I had quickly made my calculations and I saw that there is a possibility that I might move out of this town in the end so that I can be with my partner and help me with childcare. I could see the future and it was not bright at all. So once again, I just say, you know what, I've been through this registering, the antenatal process before in Crew, and it was not smooth for me for reasons that I've shared in a previous episode. So I just told myself, you know what, let me just try and register with the GP and see if I'll get a midwife, because I'm going to stay in Liverpool for about the next 5 months. Maybe I might finally get a midwife. So I get on call and I'm calling this hospital, and unfortunately they told me, you know what, you have to give us some utility bills or something that is under your name. Remember, during this time we have been given a student accommodation that is under the employer's name. So definitely I do not have any of those, and for my bank statements they were not enough proof for them to register me for reasons I do not know to date. If you're in the UK and you're thinking about registering, no one should tell you that you cannot register under a GP because you do not have certain documents. Anyway, let's move on. So I decided once again to take matters into my own hands, and I called the main hospital. Remember, in UK, you're supposed to go through your GP, and your GP will connect you to a midwife who is going to now be with you during the pregnancy, help you through it. You'll be calling them, you'll be making appointments with them. And the main hospital is usually or mainly for people who are going to see consultants or people who have been called by the community midwives to even meet them in the main hospital. Me, I just decided to bypass all that and I just went straight to the main hospital. I gave them a call and I told them, you know what, I'm from a certain hospital. I've undergone some previous antenatal checks. I have moved to Liverpool and I might be here for the next couple of months, but I'm not sure if I'm going to deliver here. So what I'm currently requesting is if you can put me in your system, let me have a few antenatal clinics in the main hospital under whichever nurse I find. I'm fine with it. Thankfully, they understood me and they put me in the system, thank God. So here I am. I've been given photocopies of my previous antenatal clinics, inclusive of the blood test, inclusive of all the things that have been done, including the ultrasound. And by the look of things, things were normal. The lab tests were a little bit deranged, but the previous one that I had done before moving to Crewe or to Liverpool, it was normal. At this point, I will repeat once again, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I barely have any symptoms whatsoever. I am just overfeeding, that's it. But physically, I am ace. So I'm given an appointment. As usual, they repeat the blood test, they repeat the urine tests. And once again, they're a little bit deranged, but they reassure me that it's a normal at that point. And the fact that I'm still taking the prenatal supplements, including the ones that help you to build up your blood, it's a little bit normal for pregnancy women to have low iron and stuff like that. So they didn't see any need for me to be put on further investigations. And so we went on. Every month I could call them, they could give me a date, I will go in, I will get my checks, I will get everything done. So this went on for the next 5 months. And within the next 5 months until week 38, I was still working throughout, having normal pregnancy fatigue. I was gaining weight. I was like a normal pregnant person, yeah? I was not having any complications at all. During this whole time, I will ask, how are the blood tests? And they'll tell me, you know what, they're a little bit deranged, but nothing to worry. I used to on supplements, stuff like that. They asked me, do you have this certain app called a Badger app where you can at least check your lab test by yourself. And because I was not registered to any community midwife at that point, I did not have access to the Badger app. And at this point, I'm just going to advise any pregnant woman, please make sure you go through your GP. Do not be like me, because I suffer the consequences of thinking I know what I'm doing. The 36th to the 37th week of my pregnancy, I started having very funny and new symptoms. The first one was splitting headaches here and there. Second was extreme fatigue. The third was my heart would beat very fast at certain periods during the day. My blood pressure started fluctuating. It will go very high, then drop to very low. I called the GP during the time because I had already registered with the GP at that point, and they took a look at my previous symptoms, and they told me to keep on checking because I was working the ward, so I could check my blood pressure here and there. And then they tried to see if I could get a midwife to check me, but unfortunately the next appointment with the midwife will be in 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks I'm supposed to be in Shrewsbury. Of which, in my opinion, because I'm a nurse also, I tend to brush off some symptoms of like, this is normal, you know. Big mistake. So we are now moving to Shrewsbury. Oh, I had not finished. So the other reason why I moved to my partner's place was because the shared accommodation that I was living in, the tenancy I had taken was for a few months. And if I renew the tenancy, that will mean that I will have to stay in that house for the next 6 months. And there is a high possibility that the landlord will not allow me to stay in a shared accommodation with a child. Number two, my partner had just gotten a good house, and I didn't see the need of me looking for a house, yet I would not be on pay. So according to my case, it was only justifiable for me to move to his place. Those are just my reasons. Don't copy me, do you? So yeah, we pack our bags, we start our annual leaves, and off I go to Shrewsbury to join my partner. And we start buying baby things, we start fixing the house, start buying furniture, It was all a crash program of settling down. And the next thing was, where are you going to deliver? You do not have a GP, you do not have a midwife for 38 weeks, and you're in a new town. What are you thinking? So I grabbed my phone the next day and I called the main hospital. No, actually, I called the GP and I told him, you know what? I've just arrived. I am from 2 different towns in the UK. I am 38 weeks pregnant. I have decided to deliver in Shrewsbury. Where do I start from? Thankfully, this time round, they were like, you know what? I won't even ask you a lot of questions. You must have your own reasons why you've decided to come to this town when you're 38 weeks pregnant. Let's just get you a community midwife and see where we're going to start from here. Dope. Community midwife gives me an instant appointment for the next day, which is rare if you know how the NHS works. So I go in and this lady is like, you're 38 weeks pregnant. Is this the first time you're coming for a clinic? And I explained everything to her, that I've been to different towns, and in these different towns I had different nurses. I was booking my own appointments. I was not understanding the system. Plus, every time I wanted to get a community midwife, I was being asked for a couple of documents that I could not provide. And long story short, she understood and she was like, let's leave all that behind. Let's do registration right now and see if we can get you into the main hospital system in case you deliver today. So we started doing the normals, getting my vitals checked, getting my bloods checked, getting my urine checked, and this nurse was just shocked. Every time she did something on me, it was always deranged. Funny enough, physically, I was strong. If you could have looked at me, I could have literally mopped the ocean and was still breathing and standing and ready to do a 12-hour shift. That's how strong I was. If I have photos and videos, I'm going to put them somewhere and you'll see how I was looking like. You wouldn't even know that I had problems inwards. Taking my blood test, very low iron, very low platelets, everything is off the hook. She checked for my kidney functions. My kidney was out of the place. She was not understanding, so she asked me, where are the files that you are carrying from the previous hospital? I told her the hospital was using an online system, so I do not have the files. So what's next? So let's see if we can repeat the blood test. So she repeated the blood test, she repeated the urine test, still deranged. At this point, I'm just going to remove it from low risk to high risk pregnancy. That means I'm going to put you under a consultant. So I'm going to book you in for the next Monday, because this is now a Friday. I'm going to book you in. Come and see the consultant on Monday. So Monday comes, and when I walk into the consultant's office, I find 4 consultants, and that's when I know something's about to go down. So they explained to me that because you have very low platelets, you are at high risk of bleeding. Because you have high risk of bleeding, there's a high possibility that you are not going to use the epidural. Yet, I thought because I'm not in the UK, I am going to enjoy the epidural. For those who don't know, epidural is a very nice anesthetic that is put in your back. With all this being said, at the back of my mind, I am not internalizing all this because I really want to deny myself the stress of starting to think that I might undergo an emergency C-section or I might have a complicated delivery at this point. I'm just telling myself, you know what, these are just the things that doctors tell patients. It will not happen to me. I'm going to have a normal delivery. I was wrong. The things that happened after that day. Oh, here comes my delivery story. But before that, make sure you subscribe. We are now on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe. Watch all my previous episodes and you'll get bits and bobs that I have not mentioned in this video. And join the gang. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Remember, it's also available to listen as podcasts at any time. So click the link below to make sure you listen on all podcast platforms that you can think about. So let's meet in the next video. Thanks for watching.